Welcome to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Let's Talk Cars Radio is sponsored in part by Napa Car Care Centers, the BDG Auto Group, and by Bob and Cindy's Cotman Transmissions. Be a part of the program today by calling 757-222-3705. That's 757-222-3705. Email your questions and comments to Dave at letstalkcarsradio.com. Now, here is the host of Let's Talk Cars Radio, Dave Palach.
Happy Saturday, America. You're listening to WKQA Freedom 1110. I'm your host, Dave Palach. Hope you guys are having yourself a great Saturday out there. The sun is actually shining where we're at, so hopefully it is where you're at. What's going on, guys?
You're right. The sun is shining. I wish I was.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen the sun. Nothing but rain lately.
Indeed.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, news has been interesting this week. You know the top story that has not gone away.
No, I don't.
No? You haven't watched any news?
I have seen a whole bunch of stuff, and I can't figure which of it's going to pick up on.
Oh, well, you know which story I'm going to pick up. As soon as I say it, you're going to know it. First self-driving car fatality.
The accident.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's been out there big time.
That's all they've talked about this week. I mean, nothing. I mean, you want to talk about when news comes to a dead halt, that's what it's been this week. That's all they've talked about this week.
Let's ban self-driving cars.
That's right. So we'll get into it. I'm not going to jump start with it because I just don't want to. I don't want to. It's. We knew it was coming. You've heard me say it. As soon as it happened, it was just going to be everybody was going to jump on it. So.
It'll happen again.
Oh, absolutely. It sure will. So we are going to talk about it. I promise you guys I will get into it. We'll talk about it. We'll probably have a little bit of a lengthy conversation about it. I just don't want to start with it. So,
all right.
What I am going to start with is, did you see the video and the footage of Kia versus Mustang?
No, I did not see that.
This is actually pretty cool. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, and you've heard me talk about the car, the Kia Stinger GT, this car is just completely out of nowhere, left field. No one saw this car coming, and you heard me say it. I mean, it's just this car is it's pretty cool. I don't care what anybody says. The car is just cool. So they decided to pit the GT versus the Mustang GT, and who do you think won?
I'm kind of guessing the Kia since you're so giddy over
it is. The Kia just destroys the Mustang. I mean, it's a V6, turbo car. And I think like the Mustang, did the test that they did in like 13.31 and the Kia did it like in 12.58 or something.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty embarrassing. I mean,
what's the price point difference in those two cars? Do you know?
No, I don't. I know it's not too bad, though. But, I mean, it
takes less money to buy the Kia, I would guess.
Yeah, I think it does. Like I said, no one saw this car coming. They just did. And it's cool. I know it's a four-door, guys. I'm sure there's, and I'm just going to break it to you guys right this second. There is talks of a two-door version of this car coming. So that they may do something on a sports coupe kind of side of things. So I don't know.
Wait and see.
Well, yeah, because the four-door version is getting so much. And look, I know we're supposed to be the muscle car guys, and we talk about muscle cars on the show and stuff like that, but you can't ignore the fact that this is a four-door turbo car that is just kind of cool. I mean, it just is.
You want one, don't you?
No.
Kind of, sort of?
Kind of, sort of, maybe. I don't know. I had to take the Kia badges off it so no one knew I was driving a Kia. That's probably what would end up happening.
Oh, man, that's not that bad.
See, all right, so I got in a conversation this week. I've always liked, and you go ahead, I'm going to hold on. You guys can just fire up your computers, get ready to start sending me the texts and start making fun of me. I've always liked Toyota Camrys. I always have. Mm-hmm. And TRD did what it was called the Manager's Edition back in the mid-90s. Well, not mid, but say 97, 98, I think it was. They did a manager's package, and they threw all the TRD parts at it. They lowered the car, did a ground effects on it, and I'm not talking about lowrider lowering the car, guys. I'm talking about performance package lowering the car. Came with a really stout set of wheels on it and just had a really nice rake to the car. It was cool looking. I was just like, now, if I needed a four-door car because I had a family, but I still wanted to have something that looked pretty cool looking, I would drive one of these things all day long. And now I kind of have like this just desire to maybe build one, just because I can. But then I started thinking about it the other night. I was like, if I was to build one, how would I build it? And I was like, maybe like a V6 turbo car, because you wouldn't expect it, and just hide it underneath the hood and then go ahead and do the TRD package to it or something like that. So, and I got to thinking about this because I was looking at the Kia Stinger story, and I was just like, yeah, now would be the time to do it, because nobody would expect it. So it just
Your very own prototype.
you're right. It's just, you start to see these things, and then I was like, maybe it's time that Toyota starts looking at doing like a turbo Camry, because people like their Toyotas.
Yeah, they do. I know my daughter does.
Toyota, you can make out your check to Dave Pilach. Look, it's just a one-time royalty check just for the idea. So it doesn't have to be a constant payment. You just pay me once.
Yeah, if it's big enough, who cares?
Right. I'm not selfish. I'll share it a little bit with everybody here in the room. It sounds like a great idea, right? See, you wouldn't mind getting a little bit of that.
No.
Yeah. See, I'm just telling you. For something that everybody, come on, let's be honest. Everybody, you saw Kia and you guys laughed. Everybody laughed when they saw Kia. It's just the whole idea. Remember the gerbils dancing inside to the music? Remember the speaker that had like the ring that used to pulsate to the music, and everybody kind of giggled, and they're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But what happened? You guys rushed out and went and bought these things. They did. People went out and rushed out and bought them. Laugh if you want, but people went out and went and got them. So, I'm just saying. That's how I'm starting my Saturday with you guys. We're talking about Kia. I'm just starting my Saturday that way. Look, I can start it any way I want it to, but I decided to start with Kia.
They should stroke the check.
Toyota?
No, Kia.
Oh, because I talk about them all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kia. If you need help spelling my last name, it's Pill. You can find it on the website. They got Fittipaldi's doing a commercial for him. I've seen him.
Hey.
It says top speed was 160 as he's like smoking it, drifting it around a track or something like that in the commercial. So
yeah.
if he got a check, I can get a check too, right?
Yeah, and he did.
I'm still stuck on the family truckster. I'm still waiting for my check for that one and the car to do the trip. So
yeah, and the equipment and the cameras, and
it was on Thursday night.
Was it?
Yeah, it was, and I watched it.
I didn't see that.
I was browsing through the stations. If you guys don't know, most of you guys do because you listen to the show quite often, but National Lampoon's Vacation, it's like one of my favorite movies. And
they show it a lot.
They do. I was just browsing through the station. It was late too. I couldn't sleep, and I want to say it was like 11 o'clock or not at night, and all of a sudden I came across it. There it was, and I was like, I went past it, and I went, I can't go past it. I went back and clicked on it, and I started watching it. How much money you got? How much it cost? How much you got? So yeah, I ended up watching it. I think I fell asleep. I don't remember the end of it, so I must have fell asleep in the middle of watching it. But
you don't remember the end of Vacation?
I know. I remember the end of the movie, but not the other night when it was on. I don't remember catching the ending of it, so I must have fell asleep watching it.
That's the good thing about watching a movie that you like and you've watched it over and over. It doesn't matter about what interruptions and all, because you know what's going on.
No, I can literally. That's one of the things I like about that movie is when I watch it, somebody can stop me to ask me a question. I don't mind turning my head and answering the question.
Yeah,
because I can hear. You kind of mundanely hear it playing in the background, but
you can almost recite it by memory.
Oh yeah, I'm like that with most car movies. We talk about this. I've seen so many car movies that I know most of the lines and stuff. So, anyway, moving on. I'm just in one of those moods today. Hey, how about being all excited about your first test drive? Do you remember your first test drive? When you went for your driver's license test, when you had to go and go get your driver's license, and you went for your test drive to prove that you can, drive a vehicle for the instructor and all that kind of stuff?
I do.
Okay. I know Cameron does. He's over there doing all the technical work over there.
I was terrified of the parallel parking part. I wasn't worried about anything else but the parallel parking.
I am a parallel parking fool. I can do it blindfolded. And anybody that's ever rode with me can attest to it. I can parallel park a school bus and have. And I had this conversation. They're like, no, you can't. And then I did it. And they're like, I guess you can.
I've done my share, but it doesn't mean I enjoy it.
I was shown years ago by somebody the geometry of how it works. And once I understood the geometry of parallel parking, I can parallel park anything because there is actually a geometry to it. As long as you understand how that works. And it is a certain distance from the vehicle next to you. and a pivoting point is what it basically is. And as long as you can understand where the pivoting point is, doesn't matter how big the vehicle is or how bulky, you can put it in that spot every single time perfectly, as long as you understand it. And if somebody actually stands outside the vehicle and shows you how that geometry works, and it will, for the rest of your life, doesn't matter what you drive, it'll go inside as long as there's enough room, and I'm talking barely enough room, as long as you understand where to pivot the vehicle, it'll always go in that hole.
Okay.
And I had somebody show it to me. And and I do it quickly. I don't have to think about it. And Cameron's rode with me. He's like, I don't know how you do that, because I just do it real quick. It's just a move of the hand around and back around, and we're right in the spot.
Well, with the newer cars, you don't need to have that skill now, do you?
Well,
they'll do it for you.
I got a question for you on that too, though. That's coming up too. I got a really good question another one of those self-driving car questions I don't think any of us ever thought of. That's coming up on that too. So, anyway, see, we're getting off task. So you remember I remember my test.
Yes, I remember.
I remember my test. Cameron remembers his.
I definitely remember mine.
Okay, so did you hear about the 17-year-old that was taking her driving test and didn't even make it out of the parking lot and failed?
No.
She drove through DMV.
The building?
Yeah. Yes. Puts the car in gear, goes to back out of the parking spot, had it in drive, not reverse, stepped on the gas, went right through the building.
I would hate to be her.
I feel bad for making fun of her, but I have to, because it's happened in Buffalo, Minneapolis area, I guess is where it is. So they just bombed her in the media. They just put her right on. They just didn't even hesitate, put her right on the news, and she was all over the news.
I take it she didn't get her license.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that's an instant fail. I mean, but could you imagine, going back to high school and everybody knows not only did you fail, but you drove through the DMV? I saw the picture. There's a picture. If you all haven't seen, go on the website. You'll see the cars, like the whole front of the car is shoved through the building. Yeah.
I just can't imagine.
Ma, I don't think I'm going to pass. There might have been a technical problem.
Hope our insurance was paid up.
Right. We do it. Well, actually, that's probably the reason why. Do you remember? I don't know, maybe not when you took it, but when I took it, and when I took the kids, you had to show that you actually have insurance on the car that's being driven.
Had to do it back in the dark ages, too.
That's probably the reason why. I never thought about it that way. Just in case you drive through the DMV, can we make sure you have insurance?
Everything had to be legal.
Yeah. Yeah, all your stuff. Yeah. When I came here to the state of Virginia, I had to take the test over again. You had to take the driving portion over again.
Oh, you did? In addition to the written part?
Yep. In addition to the written part, they made me take the driving. I don't know why, but they did.
I didn't think that. I just thought you had to do written.
Yeah, so did I. But they maybe so I took it over in Norfolk, and I was nervous about taking it. I don't know why, but I was just like, I don't want to take the driving portion again.
Because it's been so long since you've done it.
So we pull out of the parking lot, and there's a house fire right next to the DMV. It was the DMV over in Norfolk. I can't remember what road it's off, but it's in a neighborhood. It's literally in a housing neighborhood. And it's there's some bridge or something that goes over. You go off the bridge, and the DMV is right there, right next to a housing neighborhood. We pull out, and there's this house, it's like a 4-alarm fire. I mean, there's fire trucks everywhere, and this house is just burning to the ground. The guy's like, well, that concludes the driving test. Go ahead and make a U-turn and pull right back in the parking lot. We pull the parking lot, and he's like, you passed. And he just checks the boxes off.
You got lucky.
I was just like, okay, that's cool. It was funny. I was like, that works for me. It was years and years and years ago. But, I had a good driving record. I hadn't had tickets in forever or anything like that. So it's not like I was, a worry or a concern for him or anything.
I had to take the written part back in 2000 because I had gotten some tickets. And I was concerned because I hadn't done it since I was 16 years old. And I think I told you about that. I studied up and went in, and if you passed a certain number of questions it tells you the test is over. Because you passed the percentage, whatever it is.
Well, somebody told me now, I was having a conversation with somebody a little while back, you can study the book test or you can study online on the computer side. And people were telling me if they studied on the computer, they were having problems passing the test because the computer covered certain things, but the book had more information, and they preferred the book over the computer. So,
well, when I did it, the book was actually online.
Was it?
It was a PDF file, and I just sat there and studied it that way.
Technology has taken over everything.
Yeah, indeed.
Including self-driving cars. And hold that note, because I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into it. I'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio with Dave Palach here on Freedom 1110 WKQA.
Okay, your week is crazy. Your local Napa Auto Care Center understands. That's why we're open Saturdays for your convenience. Get that oil change you've been putting off way too long. Be done with those squeaky brakes that are on your last nerve. We get it. Our Napa Auto Care Center is open Saturday when you maybe don't have soccer, dance class, a late meeting at work, you name it. Call for a Saturday appointment now.
Hey guys, Dave Palach from Let's Talk Cars Radio. Are you tired of trying all the wrong auto shops and never leaving feeling that satisfied experience? Napa Car Care Centers, the BDG HRVA group, has the answer for you. Friendly, reliable teams assembled for all your automotive needs. Find your local auto center today at NapaBDGHRVA.com. That's NapaBDGHRVA.com. Talk to you soon. Hey guys, Dave Palach from Let's Talk Cars Radio. You've heard me say it time and time again. Anyone can guess what's wrong with your transmission. The true test is getting it right the first time. At Bob and Cindy's Cottman Transmission in Janif, there is no guessing. They understand that your car is more than just a car. It's what gets you from work on time and home safely at the end of the day. Bob and Cindy understand you have to work hard to meet the needs of your customer. Their certified technicians will help keep you on the road for years to come. If you can drive it, they can fix it. Call Bob and Cindy today at Cottman Transmission Janif, 466-7778. That's 466-7778.
Nobody remembers the name J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated until you need them. But when you have a toilet problem, drains back up, pipes freeze, your heat or air conditioning stops working, then you remember J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Don't forget the phone number, 399-1714. That's 399-1714. Air conditioning and heating, and all plumbing. J.F. Whitlow & Sons have been serving Hampton Roads since 1949, residential and commercial. You can always count on J.F. Whitlow & Sons to get to you fast and get the job done right the first time. Located in Portsmouth and serving all of Hampton Roads. Those who know, call J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Call them at 399-1714. That's 399-1714. J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated. Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Call into the program now at 757-222-3705. Now, here is Dave Palach.
Welcome back, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA Freedom 1110. I'm your host, Dave Palach. And before we went to commercial break, we were actually talking about, the blues of trying to actually not put your car through the DMV.
That's what the break is for.
That's... I think she's probably been picked on enough. I'm sure when it makes national news, you've probably had all you can take.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Hey, take some pictures, put it in a scrapbook, laugh about it in 30 years. That's about all you can do.
Save that video.
Yeah, right. Definitely save that video. So here's one. Have you ever used like a car transporting service or ever had to have a car moved or anything like that? I mean, not like by a tow truck, but like a delivery service or anything like that?
No, I never have.
Okay. You've had a car towed, obviously,
sure.
Before. Flatbed truck or a regular?
I was on a flatbed truck, I think, once. That's just what they sent out. But most of the time, it's a regular, typical towing truck. So
I got this story that was sent to me from one of our listeners. It's actually a pretty cool story. And I have one that mirrors it, which is actually similarly funny. Guy purchases a car, and I'm assuming, it doesn't tell me where he bought it from, but I'm assuming he bought it from probably like eBay or something like that. And if you ever bought a car off of eBay, there's services you can click on to arrange to have the vehicle moved for you after you've purchased it. So basically, they're a third party that will make arrangements for some type of transporting company to come pick the car up and now bring it to your residence after you purchase it for a price. Okay?
Sure.
So this guy uses a third-party service, and like I said, I don't know if he bought it off Craigslist or where he bought it from, but one of the outlets that you bought it offline somehow. Okay. And the car finally shows up to his house, and the guy brings the car and he's upset when he shows up with the car because when he picked it up, the car didn't run and it had flat tires and everything else, Well, you're a car service. I mean, if you're picking up cars, you might as well just assume that every time you go pick up a car, if the person you're doing business with tells you, go pick this car up for me, that there's going to be problems. Either it's not going to start or there's going to be a tire flat, whatever. If you're in the car transporting business, just like I said, just assume that every time you go pick something up, it's never going to go smooth, because that's what I would just assume. Even if the guy told me the car's mint and it runs, I'm going to assume that one of those things he said, mint or runs, isn't going to be true.
Well, then what happens?
Well, then you get there and you got to go pick it up and you got to deal with it. You just get it on the truck. Whatever you got to do to get it on the truck so you can
if it runs when it's on the truck and the tires are inflated when it's on the truck and it gets to its destination and it's flat tires and won't start, what happens?
Well, the battery could have went dead. Things happen. You could have lost air in a tire. Anything can happen.
I just, I would think if I was paying for a car to be transported, I'd want to start it and have it backed off the truck. And
well, I would too, but I can understand, being a car guy, that things happen. That's just me. If you showed up delivering my car and it had a flat tire, no big deal. If it didn't fire up, no big deal. Let's just get it off the truck. Well, that's not what happened in this story.
I'd look in the hood to see if the engine was in there.
Right. Well, yeah, maybe. So in this story, the tires are flat and they're trying to shove the car and trying to get it off the trailer. Well, they end up shoving too hard and the car kind of slips off halfway off the trailer. So now it's half on the trailer, half off the trailer. So now the car delivering guy is really mad as the story goes. And not only is he mad, but now it's kind of stuck on his truck. So they decide to call out a tow company to come assist. So the tow company is going to hook a winch to it and basically just winch it off the trailer, to pull it down, because it's half on, half off. Well, somewhere in the process of that, the car falls off the trailer onto its side and is now laying fully on its side perfectly.
Oh, man.
And it's like a 65 Cadillac, to make it even worse. It's like this guy's going to restore this car. Well, the transport company just drives away. Just gets in his truck and just drives away. He's like, it's delivered.
He leaves it lying on the side?
Yep, it's delivered. And of course, there's paperwork to do, when you deliver the car. So he just goes in his computer and checks vehicle's been delivered so he can get his payment and goes on with his day. Oh. Yeah, could you imagine?
I'm surprised the owner didn't have to at least sign for it.
Well, here's the thing. So the owner has to put money down ahead of time before the car is ever picked up, and then before they even start attempting to take the car off the trailer, you have to pay the balance, which was like $200 or something like that. I think is what the story was that was given to me. So, but could you imagine paying all the funds are paid and you're left with your car laying on its side? And
so, did he file suit against the company? Or
he did. So he filed suit against the company that he did business with, but basically in the clause it says they're not responsible. They're just a third party company. You'll have to take up with the company that actually delivered your vehicle.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of shady, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. I thought so too.
I don't like that.
No, because I hired you. I didn't hire that third party. You hired that company to represent you.
Yep.
So, but there's a clause. They got it written pretty well that gets them out of it.
I paid you, so I hold you responsible.
Right. So if you're buying this, the reason why I talk about this story is if you're buying a car online from any of these companies and you hire a company to transport the car, know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you a story about it. So I did business on eBay one time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you the finger. One time. One time. It's all it took for me. I decided that I wanted to get into jet skis. By the way, that was a one-time experience too. They're very expensive. So I decided I wanted to get into jet skis. So I bought a jet ski that had an engine problem. Since I'm a car guy, not a problem. I'll just fix the engine. So to make that part of the story real quick, parts weren't available. Really nice jet ski. Parts weren't available for this particular race ski that I had bought. So I decided to just go ahead and put the ski back up for sale and sell it off as parts. I had found a forum to find out that if I sold this thing for parts, I'd make 9 times what I paid for the ski if I parted it out. So I put it up for sale, and that story actually ended up being true. This particular ski I had bought was worth a lot of money in parts versus it was as a complete ski. So I had a guy decide he just wanted to pay me parts value but wanted everything. So he buys it from me. He sends a transport company to come pick this thing up. And these guys show up in a truck that I don't know how it made it from. I think they came from like Maine or something like that. It was way up north.
They came from Maine to pick it up?
Yeah. They were a transport company.
Was it going back to Maine?
It was going back to Maine. But I think they were already out doing other stuff, picking things up. They were just they picked me up on their deadhead back to Maine.
Gotcha.
But the rust holes in the side of this truck were so big I could see all the way through the truck everywhere. I mean, that's how big the rust holes were.
They use a lot of salt up there,
Oh, I know. I'm aware. So they have no trailer. There's just the bed of the truck. So they're going to pick the ski up and they're going to put the ski in the bed of this truck. In the bed of this truck is probably about half a foot deep of oil and grease. I don't know what they ever hauled in this truck. They slide the ski into this muck and oil. Now, keep in mind, I had just buffed and polished this ski when I had it. It had been in the garage all polished up. I mean, it was bright and shiny. They slide it into all this muck, and then they reach down in the muck and they pull these ratchet straps up out of the muck that I didn't even realize were in there because the muck had covered the ratchet straps. You couldn't even tell they were in there. And they just throw them over the top of the ski, and muck and grease and stuff is just dripping down this beautiful ski that I had polished. And I'm snapping pictures with my cell phone, and I'm sending them to the buyer. I'm like, this is who you sent to come get this ski. Are you sure you want them to take off with it? And before they even got the ratchet straps on it, I was taking pictures of the inside of the truck before they even loaded the ski and everything. The guy wouldn't reply back to me. So, of course, what do you think happened when they finally got to Maine with the ski?
Well, since the guy didn't reply back, he probably didn't even want to take it, or I don't know what happened.
Right. Oh yeah. What is this? I mean, you know, these aren't what I got. These aren't the pictures. I'm like, I sent you a million text messages before they ever loaded this thing. You know, you sent them. I had to let them take it. I mean, I don't have a choice. But if I sent them away, you would have thought I was crazy. You know what I mean? So they would have charged you for being here and not taking a load. I gave you the opportunity. They took it. This is the company you hired. I mean, they destroyed. I mean, I'm sure it all could have been cleaned up. You know what I mean? But it would have took a lot of work. I mean, when I talk about muck, we're talking about like gear oil and regular oil mixed in about half a foot deep across the whole bed. I mean, it just sloshed. As the truck moved, it like ran back and forth like a really molasses river back and forth in the back bed of this truck. So once again, when you hire people, make sure you know who you're hiring to move your stuff.
Man, that's when you need insurance.
You need something. Yeah. It was crazy. So I have another one that got sent to me. I had a bunch of listeners send me stuff this week. It was actually kind of cool, which is great because it was such a slow news week this week. So did you see the dealership that had about 380 vehicles destroyed by baseball-size hail? I
didn't see the pictures, but I read the story.
There's a video of it. There's surveillance video from the dealership. It's in... it was Coleman, Alabama, and one of the surveillance camera footage is like right above like two Camaros and like a Corvette or something like that, and they're baseball size hail, like looks like it's slinging hail out of the sky like 180 miles an hour as they just destroy these vehicles.
They would have been destroyed with hail that size.
Oh yeah, I mean when they hit, it's like meteors hitting the ground. I mean, that's the force they're hitting
Crash the
with.
windshields.
Just putting huge dents in the body panels. I mean, like the size of a baseball being hurled at it as fast as it can, and just the windows exploding. When I mean it hit the windows, they didn't like crack a window. It was like exploding the windows out of cars. Oh,
I can just imagine it.
Okay, so we've talked about this before. I've seen what they call a hail sale. Yeah, hail sale. Say that 3 times fast. And where the dealership just sells off their cars with hail damage because there's not really much more you can do. But I don't know what you would do with 380 destroyed cars. I mean, when I'm talking about destroyed, look at some of the pictures. You guys go online and take a look at it. These cars are destroyed.
Sell them for engine parts.
Larry's always the innovator. He's like, just strip them down. You got a bunch of parts.
Didn't hurt the engine and the transmission.
No, it didn't. I mean, but I don't. You know how long it would take you to recoup your money? I mean, because you're not getting any body panels. I mean, the body panels are done.
Yeah, the hood and the trunk and all that stuff's all gone. All the windows.
Well, I've seen I watched a whole a mini documentary one time about hail damaged cars on a dealership, and the dealership had brought them in the body shop, and they're like heating, like super intense heating the body panels and popping a lot of the hail damage out of the body panels and stuff the best they can. And then some cars, there wasn't much they could do for them where the hail had hit like in the creased body lines. They couldn't get those dents out. So they'd roll out there and just have a big, huge hail sale.
That sounds like an insurance claim, and then they take it to the junkyard and...
Well, maybe. I mean, but they were
crush them up.
The whole thing that I was watching was literally like they're trying to find a way to move the inventory, which then tells you that how much margin there was in those cars. If you could still sell them and make money, then there's definitely some margin to work with.
Or they didn't want to file a claim. Huh? I mean, that's what insurance is for. classically.
Don't get me started with insurance. You know how
I know.
everybody that listens to this show knows how I feel about insurance when it comes to cars. And on that note, it's commercial break time again. So hang tight with us. We'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio with Dave Palach here on Freedom 1110 WKQA.
Hey guys, Dave Palach from Let's Talk Cars Radio. You've heard me say it time and time again. Anyone can guess what's wrong with your transmission. The true test is getting it right the first time. At Bob and Cindy's Cottman Transmission in Janif, there is no guessing. They understand that your car is more than just a car. It's what gets you from work on time and home safely at the end of the day. Bob and Cindy understand you have to work hard to meet the needs of your customer. Their certified technicians will help keep you on the road for years to come. If you can drive it, they can fix it. Call Bob and Cindy today at Cottman Transmission Janif, 466-7778. That's 466-7778.
Nobody remembers the name J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated until you need them. But when you have a toilet problem, drains back up, pipes freeze, your heat or air conditioning stops working, then you remember J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Don't forget the phone number, 399-1714. That's 399-1714. Air conditioning and heating, and all plumbing. J.F. Whitlow & Sons have been serving Hampton Roads since 1949, residential and commercial. You can always count on J.F. Whitlow & Sons to get to you fast and get the job done right the first time. Located in Portsmouth and serving all of Hampton Roads. Those who know, call J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Call them at 399-1714. That's 399-1714. J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated.
Take vitamins, exercise, ease up on the coffee. Sound familiar from your last visit to the doctor? Well, your Napa Auto Care Center knows preventive maintenance too. By grouping together services your vehicle needs, customized for the way you drive, they can save you time, money, and hassles. Prevent troubles down the road and give you confidence when you travel. Ask your Napa Auto Care Center to build a preventive maintenance plan for your vehicle today.
Hey guys, check everything your Napa Auto Care Center has to offer at NapaBDGHRVA.com. That's NapaBDGHRVA.com. Their commitment to excellence will leave you coming back for more. So check them out at NapaBDGHRVA.com. Talk to you soon.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Call into the program now at 757-222-3705. Now, here is Dave Palach.
Welcome back, America. You're listening to WKQA Freedom 1110. Let's talk about cars radio. So here we are once again. You're joining us. You're stuck listening to my voice.
It's better than Let's Talk About Automobiles.
Right. Hey, so I got a crazy one for you coming up, but I do have a caller I want to get you. What's going on, man?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello there, Dave. Hey, okay. The scenario is a DMV in Hampton, Virginia, in 1953. I'm going over there for my driver's license with a Bard 1950 Chevrolet Hourglass from a neighbor. My dad was on the job, and he sent me over there. Okay, I passed the test. Everything's fine. Passed the written test. You go outside the DMV, and a state trooper, DMV state trooper gets in the car with you. So he opens it. You have to parallel park. 2 poles in front of me, 2 poles behind me, made out of wood, got a flat so it can stand up. And I parallel park perfect, man. The car is in there, and the state trooper opens the door, gets in the car. He says, okay, let's go. I hit the gas and back up over the 2 poles behind me and knock them down and run over them. And the state trooper looks at me. He says, well, we'll see you next time. And he gets out of the car and shuts the door. And that was it. And I had to go home and tell my dad that I failed the test. He's a little bit upset about that, because I'm supposed to be the smart kid. he compared me to a dumb kid down the end of the street. He said, "Man, he passes the test and you fail." Is that what you're telling me? I mean, it was a little embarrassing, yeah.
He looks at you and goes, "Nice try, kid." I remember when I took my test, I went down, and I you've heard me talk about it before. And I was one of those kids that 100% just wanted to drive. I mean, and just was convinced I could drive anything. It didn't matter what it was. And I remember just being a ball of nerves when I went down to go take my test. But I pulled it off remarkably, and I've never stopped driving since. And my love for driving, my love for cars, and my love for stories with people with cars, it hasn't stopped. I mean, it's just fueled me even more throughout the years.
Yes.
Yeah, it is an awesome thing. I mean, and it's funny because I have so many stories about cars that take me back to a place in time. I've always said that music is one of the things that can take you back to a place in time in an instant. But for me, it's music and cars. All my car stories.
That's me. I can. Somebody tells me a story or something, or you hear a story, and I'll say, that was 1986 or something like that. I immediately think of the kind of car I was driving at that point in time.
I do the same thing. It's funny. I do the exact same thing. Well, I appreciate the call, buddy, and thanks for listening. Make sure you tell all your friends to tune in. We appreciate it.
I'll definitely do it. Thanks a lot. Y'all got a good show.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's funny. And you've heard me say, we talked about it off the air. Music was one of the biggest things for me. And everybody that's listening, you guys know I love music, especially when I'm driving. I love to turn on music when I'm driving, and it takes me back to just another place instantly, especially songs and dates. So like the one I sent you.
Yeah.
I will research music until, and you know what, and just so you guys know, we are coming up. I'm working on it. We are going to do another top 100 songs again like we did last year.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, so we do the top 100 songs, and it's songs picked by the listeners that would be listened in your car. So you guys pick them, and then we go ahead and we go over them, top 100. I'm going to do that again. So I have it coming. I'm working on it. It just takes a little bit of time to put it all together because when everybody votes, you got to be able to keep track of it and tally it all up. But we are going to do that again.
100 songs an hour. That's a good trick.
We did it last time.
Yeah, we've done it more than once.
Yeah. We're going to do it again. It is coming up. So I'm working on the logistics of it. So I'll let you guys know. So anyway. Moving on, I have another story for you. So this is a weird one, and I have a story that goes with it, so I know how this could actually happen. So, a listener actually sent me a story about a state trooper that was called out in an investigation, and the report was that a car was spotted driving on 3 wheels. Yeah, I know.
Where was the other one?
Right, that would pose the first question. Where was the other one? When the state trooper caught up with the vehicle, sure enough, it was driving on 3 wheels. This trooper turned on its lights. The car signals with its signal and pulls over to the side of the road like everything's just normal. And it's only got 3 wheels on it. Now, everybody, your thought would be like, where's the other wheel?
How is it able to drive? How come it's not tipping over?
I don't know. It's just driving. It's missing a wheel. Placement of the battery, I don't know. It's just driving. I mean, I would imagine the car had to have some slight dip to it or something.
Shifted all the way to the opposite end or something.
Something in the trunk that was heavy to one side that kept the car from dipping too much to one side. But
which wheel was missing, rear or front?
I'm thinking it was. They didn't say, but looking at, there was a diagram that they sent me with me, and I think it's handwritten by the person who gave me the story. But it indicates basically it's the right. Looking at the right front tire.
That would make it fun to steer.
It would. But so then my stories, I told you I have a story for almost everything that's car related. Years and years and years ago, I was working for a company, and I got called out. One of my employees, we were running tow trucks and all that kind of stuff. So one of my employees goes, "I'm gonna need you to come out and give me a hand. I mean, you're not gonna believe it. You got to come out and see it." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Where are you?" So he gives me the address, and I get my company car and I head to his location. He wasn't close to where I was at. So I start driving. I get about, I'm going to say, a good 5 miles out. Now, I kid you not paying any attention to, and I don't know the story yet. So this will make sense to you because I'm driving along, and I start driving. I notice there looks like there's paint, white paint on the highway. I'm on the freeway. This is here in town. And I think I start noticing it right at I want to say it was Laskin Road area. Not Laskin Road, Lynn Haven Road. and it just looked like white paint on the freeway, and it's in the slow lane. And I'm like, oh, somebody must have like tipped maybe like a 5-gallon paint can tipped over and was slowly dripping out of the back of a work truck and just left marks going all the way down. Well, I noticed the marks start to get like more progressive the further we go down the road. Well, it just so happens to be going in the same direction that I'm going in. So I go and I get off at like First Colonial, and I make my turn. I go down through a neighborhood. Well, these drip marks, I'm like, wow, I'm literally following where this truck went the whole time. I'm like, wow, construction, this is interesting. Maybe I'll see the truck that dripped all this paint. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. So I'm driving, I'm following it, and it goes, I turn right into the neighborhood, and here's the drip marks right into the neighborhood. Now it's really profound. It's nice, wide drip marks. I mean, it's gotten bigger and bigger. And I drive, I go all the way down to the end of the neighborhood. I pull around the corner to where there's an apartment complex. And as I pull up in the apartment complex, the drip marks stop right in front of this car. I'm like, that's strange. Well, I get out, they're not drip marks. They are gouges in the cement in the road. They looked like paint drip marks, but it's actually gouges. I walk around to the front of the vehicle. It's missing the complete front tire down to the point where the rim has been grounded down. The rim's still on there just to where the 4 bolts for the lug nuts are just holding on what's left of the rim, just in a small pattern around where the lug nuts are at.
Obviously, tire long gone.
Tire, rim, everything gone. The rim's completely gone. The rim itself is ground down just a little bit bigger than a fist, just where the lug nuts are holding it on.
Was that what was gouging the roadway?
That's what gouged it. The tire came off, and the woman continued to drive the car all the way home. She ground the rim all the way down to nothing. So what I thought was paint marks being dripped was actually the whiteness of the pavement being, scarred from the rim actually gouging into the pavement. And then, all the way home.
So she obviously had to know.
Oh, she knew. How do you not? I said, I hate to say it, but I said alcohol is involved. Because it happened like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she drove it home all the way that way. And like I said, it was a good 5 miles. Could you imagine like the sparks or something? I mean, there had to be sparks pouring off that car.
Well, the difficulty in controlling the car and the racket it would make.
Oh, yeah.
And she couldn't go very fast.
I would say she was probably going a pretty good clip.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never seen that.
The whole front of the car was destroyed. I mean, the car was just completely destroyed. I mean, because the whole front bumper was grounded off. The control arm was all grounded flat. I mean, yeah, it was bad.
It was ruined.
And she couldn't understand why my employee couldn't do anything for her. He's like, I can't do anything with this. And she was belligerent and very mad and that he wouldn't just put on the spare tire so she could get on with her workday.
Yeah, like it was as simple as that, huh?
Yeah, that's how she viewed it. It should have been as simple as that.
That's when you need a flatbed.
She was very, very upset. And I was just like, he's like, there's nothing. I mean, he was polite. He was like, there's nothing we can do for you. Nothing. He's like, this is going to like a body shop.
There's something you can do, but it's going to cost you.
Right. It's going to go on a flatbed. It's going to a body shop, and they're going to hand you a very large bill.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So that I can understand how this could happen, that somebody was caught driving with only 3 wheels.
Okay. Well, she had all 4. Just one of them didn't qualify as a wheel.
Yeah. All right. So if that story's not weird enough for you guys, I have another one. And you'll either like this or you won't like this, guys. So we've talked about all the different ideas of cheap cars, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea of cheap cars. How about a car in a box?
Like you purchase the car and it's in the box and you got to put it together?
Kind of.
Kind of.
How about if it just comes to you in a box? The car comes to you in a box for $7,000, right around there, $7,000 to $8,000. A box shows UPS delivers your car in a box, and it's not a big box. It's not a huge box.
It's a kit.
Kind of.
Is that it? Yeah, kind of.
I'm being elusive. 3D print. They send you out a one-time use 3D printer in all the materials. You plug it in your garage, and you turn it on, and it starts printing your car.
It prints the parts.
It prints it, and everything just kind of pops together, and you just put it together, and you'll 3D print the car.
How about the engine?
A lot of parts of the engine will all be 3D printed as well. It will make your car in 3 days. It all comes in a box.
So you got to assemble the engine.
Kinda. It's basically it's very simple from what the concept of the idea is really simple. Basically, it's almost like a 4-part pop together for the engine to work. I mean, it's 4 different parts, and it's really a simple. It's still in concept stage, but basically they're just it's a one-time deal. It's a disposable car. The car's only made to last like basically for 2 to maybe 3 years at the most. But it's like an $8,000 car. It comes in a box. You plug it in, it 3D prints your car, puts it all together, and you just pop it together and you drive for 2 to 3 years.
I can't conceive of that because of the engine part.
How about you guys out there in America? You guys for it? I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was different. You just imagine, hey, there's your car. And you're just like, wow.
An engine is fairly complex. They're usually.
But we're getting away from that with electric motors and stuff. It's electric car. We're away from complex motors.
Well, electric motors are complex as well, are they not? I understand they're not as.
No, not really. I mean, if you go for the simple idea of complex and you just do variable, gear assembly where it's just belt driven and that's it, and you just got a couple pulleys and stuff, there's not a whole lot to it.
Here's the engine in a separate box. Just drop it in when you're through.
Right. Just this bolts right here, and there you go. I mean, the cars won't go fast. They're not going to be like speed demons. Your top speed would probably be like 50 miles an hour in the car. I mean, but who cares? If it's just for basic transportation going to work, you don't really care.
I think the only way that could work is they would have to make it exceptionally simple and easy to do.
Well, the 3D printer is going to do most of it. You're just going to pop some things
But
together.
It's got to be assembled.
Well, what if it's doing?
You got to bolt the seat into the floor.
Well, okay, other than popping the glass into it and stuff like that,
Okay, insert tab A into slot B.
Right. Look, we all went to IKEA at one point in time. I mean, it can be done, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys hang on to that story. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. I'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio with Dave Palach here on Freedom 1110 WKQA. Nobody remembers the name J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated until you need them. But when you have a toilet problem, drains back up, pipes freeze, your heat or air conditioning stops working, then you remember J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Don't forget the phone number, 399-1714. That's 399-1714. Air conditioning and heating and all plumbing. J.F. Whitlow & Sons have been serving Hampton Roads since 1949. Residential and commercial. You can always count on J.F. Whitlow & Sons to get to you fast and get the job done right the first time. Located in Portsmouth and serving all of Hampton Roads. Those who know, call J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Call them at 399-1714. That's 399-1714. J.F. Whitlow & Sons, Incorporated.
Something really cool happened in 1975. And no, it wasn't the beginning of the disco era. Congress passed the Magnuson-Moss Act, so you don't have to take your vehicle back to your dealer to keep your vehicle manufacturer's warranty in effect. Our Napa Auto Care Center uses the proper replacement parts and procedures to keep that warranty valid. Visit our independently owned Napa Auto Care Center today.
Hey guys, you asked for it and I delivered. Check out our all-star team of automotive specialists at NapaBDGHRVA.com. That's NapaBDGHRVA.com. Talk to you soon. Hey guys, Dave Palach from Let's Talk Cars Radio. You've heard me say it time and time again. Anyone can guess what's wrong with your transmission. The true test is getting it right the first time. At Bob and Cindy's Cottman Transmission in Janif, there is no guessing. They understand that your car is more than just a car. It's what gets you from work on time and home safely at the end of the day. Bob and Cindy understand you have to work hard to meet the needs of your customer. Their certified technicians will help keep you on the road for years to come. If you can drive it, they can fix it. Call Bob and Cindy today at Cottman Transmission Janif, 466-7778. That's 466-7778.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Call into the program now at 757-222-3705. Now, here is Dave Palach.
Welcome back, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA Freedom 1110. I'm your host, Dave Palach. If you're hanging out with us, we are covering all the news stories for this week. So, I got one for you. If you didn't like my last stories, you didn't like Car in the Box. Remember I told you about airbags? Airbags. So, didn't I tell you that people were just kind of hanging out, seeing where the airbag stories were going to go? Mm-hmm. Yeah. More people are going to have airbag issues. So it turns out there's some more manufacturers that did have Takata airbags in their car. As I told you so. That's right. I'm saying I told you so. And they were hanging out and just waiting to see what the fallout was going to be. So there was more going to court.
Man. So it sounds like there's only one company making airbags, and they're everywhere.
Well, here's the reason why. Because you guys remember Takata, they were just the lowest price one, so that's why everybody went to them. And why you had all these airbags being recalled, you had people hanging out in the back going, I hope they don't point the finger at me. Back to 2003.
Wow.
They knew that they had a minute. And people were raising their hands going, I think we ought to review this. We might want to take a look. I think this is a really bad idea, guys. And people were just like, nah, it'll be all right. No one know. So you have more manufacturers going up the ladder.
And they're still putting these in cars, are they not?
No, I think we finally have a handle on some of this. I really do. But just the fact that I told you, I knew it, man. I just knew it.
I remember you saying so.
I knew that there was manufacturers out there that weren't going to come clean unless they were forced to.
I remember you saying it, and you said it on more than one occasion.
I did, because it's just, when you're in the car market, you know the car market. Look, guys, for you that are out there that own auto garages that tune in every week, I appreciate it, and listen to the show. You guys know how this works. We know that there's a manufacturer out there that makes a part that 19 different people stamp their name on. I mean, it's just the way it works.
Yeah.
And 19 different prices that go along with it too sometimes, unfortunately, because I hate that. I can buy a part from Joe Blow and Dick and Jane down the street, are buying the same part with someone else's name on it, but it's all made by the same manufacturer. It just is. And so I knew this was going to come around, and I've been crying wolf for 2 years now on this.
Yes, indeed. It's been a while.
Because I knew it, and I just knew it was going to be it. So it was a small blurb story this week, very tiny in the back page section, but there it is.
Caught your eye.
Yeah, it did. It caught me because I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting because I just knew. So here's one for you. How about Honda dealerships turning away cars because they can't sell them and they don't want no more on the lot? The truck shows up to deliver your brand new car to the dealership for you to buy, and the dealership goes, I've already got 100 of them. Where would you like me to stuff these ones?
Wow. And what's the reason for that?
Can't sell them. Another story that I've been covering for a while that hasn't gone away, another one of those I told you so. I like to say I told you so.
Hondas aren't selling?
Honda Accords, man, can't get rid of them. People don't want them.
Why?
People don't want cars, period. We covered this. People don't want new cars like they used to. And if you guys aren't following the market and you think I'm full of it, pay attention. The analysts are covering it. You look at the stock market. The stock market is dictating it. People aren't buying new cars like they used to, and they're not going to. And this is going to get worse. And if you think I'm nuts, go ahead and shoot me an email. Tell me I'm nuts. Dave at letstalkcarsradio.com. You can go ahead and tell me I'm nuts. But I'm not. I'm not nuts. The ride-sharing programs are coming. You're not going to get rid of them. They're not going to go away. They're going to keep on getting bigger. And the bigger they get and the more influence they have on our children, and I'm going to say our children because that's the people who don't want to drive anymore. They don't care if they drive anymore. All they want to do is get from point A to point B. They do not care if they own a car. They don't want the responsibility of owning a car. They don't want the maintenance of a car. So as ride-share gets bigger, people, your children are not going to care about owning a car. And as they grow up and they stop buying cars, the people are going to stop selling cars. It's just going to go away. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the report this week where Ford is now looking at selling cars online. Why are they looking to sell cars online? You get rid of the idea of the brick and mortar. You don't have that overhead cost anymore.
But of course you can't test drive, or can you?
Remember we talked about virtual test drive 4 months ago.
You're correct.
Okay, and if anybody doesn't know what that is, virtual test drive is a program they're working on where you put on a headset and you can take a virtual test drive. And I'm kidding you not. It is 100% a virtual test drive. You can reach out, you can play with the knobs, you can do it. And if you want to step up, let's say there's a base model and a GT model. Of a touch of a button, you go from sitting in the base model to sitting in the GT model with all the new features. This is real. It's got sensitivity touch where you can touch and feel everything and it feels like you're really in the car. They're developing all these things because people don't care. Not everybody wants to buy a car anymore. They just don't. And the market is showing it slowly, but it is showing it. When you get to the point where Honda people are going, stop sending me cars. I don't want them. I can't have them. Now, to own a Honda dealership, you're obligated to take so many cars, but they're turning away trucks and going, no, you're not offloading these here. So this is really happening. The trucks are showing up to drop off Honda Accords, and they're going, I'm not taking them. I can't sell the ones I have.
It's a big departure from the model that's been around for the last 100 years.
It is. So, like I said, I have a lot of people. I argue with people. You guys heard me say, I'm on all the different blog sites and forums and stuff, and I go in and we talk about all this. And, I argue about this every week because it makes news for me to talk to you guys about. But one of the biggest things we argue about is people say, oh, it's never going to go away. It is going away. And like I said, if you don't agree with me, please, by all means, let's argue about it. I love arguing about it. It's fun.
Well, obviously, Kia's not having a problem, are they?
You're right. I don't know. Who knew? The Stinger.
And it's not happening to Toyota, is it?
Toyota's feeling a little bit of a crunch. They're doing okay. They're stable, but everybody is feeling it. They're feeling it. The leasing programs have changed a little bit, which isn't bringing the people out to buy cars like they used to. There's a lot of things that are changing. The guy Kramer that does the stocks, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even he's saying that car sales are going to go away because the younger generation just have no interest in owning cars.
You think this will happen quickly, or will this be a slow change?
I can't answer that yet, but I can tell you that since we've had this show, we've seen the change.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Last but not least, I didn't forget. I said we'd talk about it, and I held it off to the end of the show. Let's talk about Uber. I did. I held it to the very last. So, if you guys weren't sleeping underneath a rock, but if you were, I hope you had a great sleep. Uber had its first accident. It's the first pedestrian fatality in a self-driving car this week. As horrible as it is, there's been a lot of fingers pointing, and that's the biggest reason I think I didn't really want to get into it, guys, is because I just really didn't want to get into it, but because everybody else has talked it to death.
Well, is it Uber's fault or Volvo?
Okay, well, here's the thing. So everybody's like, oh, Uber should not be involved in testing self-driving cars. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I've heard it all. Why not? Uber has one of the biggest testing platforms there is. Look how many Uber drivers are out on the road. Why would you not want to test? I mean, it has the biggest platform to test. You couldn't be Ford, Chevy, Toyota, or ever and get that many cars out on the road as a testing platform as Uber or even Lyft nowadays. I mean, that's a huge testing platform to do so. So that's a smart decision as far as I'm concerned. As far as the governing of it, okay, I might agree. Maybe there needs to be more governing of it as far as that testing platform. But here's the thing. Self-driving cars are coming. You're not going to stop it. And unfortunately, a pedestrian getting hit and being killed isn't going to stop the program. Number one, if you take a look at it fact for fact, should the car have been able to avoid her? Possibly, sure. But it was at night, a black setting sky against somebody wearing black crossing not in a crosswalk in the middle of the night. That could have happened to anybody, whether the car was driving itself or not.
Story I read said they blamed the sensors, the radar and the sensors.
The LiDAR. They're trying right now. They're trying to point the finger. First, they try to point the finger at the driver. Then they try to point the finger at the self-driving car. Now they're pointing the finger at LiDAR. And then when they get done with that, they'll point the finger at somebody else. That's just what it will be. We're pointing fingers. Why? Because right this second, the bill is on Capitol Hill to be pushed to lighten in the regulations on self-driving cars so we can move forward. So now is the time to start pointing fingers. That's just where we're at.
Well, you had the same thing happen when horseless carriages were first introduced in the early part of the 20th century.
Yes,
the same thing.
It's not going to change anything. Yes, someone died, and that's tragic. And if you don't have a heart, then maybe you don't feel bad for that. But, I mean, those who have a heart can understand that it's a tragic situation. But with that being said, things are going to progress. You can't stop progression. There's no way to stop that. It's just you have to move forward. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and people are going to unfortunately be in accidents, and people are going to lose their life, and those things are going to happen, and those are going to be tragic, and it's going to be sad. But technology is going to continue to move forward. It doesn't matter how many times you point fingers at the situation. It's just that's what this is. This is our technology advancing at a rapid pace, and it's really not rapid, because it's been happening for a long time. They're just starting to introduce it to you all, and you guys think this is happening so quick. No, this is 15 years of development that's now just being put in the public eye is what it is. It's not quick. So, I don't know. Shame on you all who are pointing fingers and trying to blame everybody because, I just think that's silly. I think it's stupid, and that's probably the reason why I saved it for the very end of the show.
I got you. Well, it's got a lot of press.
It did. It didn't get very much here because, yes, I think it's important to talk about it, but at the same point in time, I wasn't going to base the whole show on it because I think everybody's kicked it enough. It's been on every single outlet this week, and as much as I'd like to discuss it and talk about it, I'm not a finger pointer. I just don't believe in doing business that way.
So, well, you don't accomplish anything.
No, you don't. Hey, One last story for you before we get out of here. Another Dodge Hellcat caught doing 160 in Indiana on the freeway. State trooper pulled it over. Guess what the guy's name was?
I have no idea.
I told you, every time they get caught doing something crazy in a muscle car, they always have a crazy name, right?
Yeah?
J. Jesus Duran Sandoval.
That was the driver.
That was the driver.
I saw the story. I think the state trooper clocked him at, 150 or something?
160.
160.
Yeah, so J. Jesus Duran Sandoval.
That's Jesus in Mexico.
Maybe it is. But that's better than Mustang GT. Yeah. So anyway, it is Saturday. It is nice where we're at. Hopefully it's nice where you guys are at. Enjoy your Saturday. Sunday's right around the corner. Enjoy your Sunday. Get out there. Spend some time with your kids. Turn off the TV. Play some Legos with them. They'll enjoy it. Take them to a car show. And we're out of here. We'll talk to you soon.